Welcome back, everyone. If you're looking to book more calls and clients, then you're in the right place. If you've been researching how to start your coaching business, or even worse, if you've told someone else that you're looking to be a coach, then you've probably heard a lot of conflicting information and myths and misconceptions all around. So today, we're going to break down 10 common misconceptions and myths about coaching and having a coaching business. So let's go ahead and jump right into it with the first myth that you may have heard about coaching, which is that nobody wants or needs it. Now, the short story here is that this flat out could not be more incorrect. The last few years have actually seen an explosion in the coaching industry, actually mainly led by demand or by people who want it. I'm actually going to release a video soon about the benefits and reasons why you should start a coaching business, but just sticking to this for now. I think the world has come to realize that information is not all that we need. So as you can see here, I definitely have plenty of books and plenty that I got a bunch of good information, but I'll be honest here, I didn't act on it. And this actually goes back to one of my favorite ideas, which is that people don't want information, they want transformation. The next coaching myth to clarify is that it's saturated. So I just mentioned that coaching has exploded recently, mainly on the demand side, which means that it grew because people want it. And actually, this kind of spreads to all businesses in every industry, is that if anybody ever tells you that anything is saturated, that means that they simply aren't willing to niche down. So I am a huge fan of niching. You can find a bunch of videos in the playlist here, but the point is that if you niche down sufficiently, then competition becomes irrelevant, and short story here, saturation doesn't exist if you niche down enough. The next coaching myth to break is that you need to have all of the answers. Now, this kind of doubles out into a few other things, like you need to be certified, you need to have a degree, you need to have trained at some school or some class or whatever. Not the case. Now, I know some people don't like to hear this, and I'm not really sure why, but I've said this before, that you really only need to be one step ahead of the person you're coaching. So if you've seen that movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio, they asked him, how did you teach these medical classes or whatever classes he was faking to be a teacher of? And his answer was, I read one chapter ahead, which is pretty much the same idea. And on top of that, a lot of coachees actually prefer somebody closer to their level. So if you are looking for a fitness trainer, some people may not want some huge bodybuilder who seems like they're 100 miles ahead of them, or same thing in any other case. So if you're looking for a business coach, maybe some people might actually like Elon Musk as a coach, and that's fine. I would definitely consider it if that was an opportunity. But the point is that most coachees would actually prefer somebody closer to their level. So all of this is to say that you do not need to have all the answers or some fancy certification or to be an expert in some other person's eyes. The next coaching myth to bust is that you can't help anyone. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, I want to start a coaching business, but I don't have any skills. I don't have the right experience. I don't have a certification or a degree or whatever it might be. But I am literally 100% sure that if you dig into your past, your experiences, even your future goals and aspirations, that you can definitely find topics that you can help people with. You can check out some of my videos on how to find your niche for more information on this, but the point is that if you look back at your accomplishments, any problems you have overcome, literally anything that's cool that you have done or even unique, and actually there's a lot more factors that you can go into here. The point is you can definitely help people, and the sooner you do that, the sooner everyone is better off. The next coaching myth is that you have to stick to your gender or your country or your city or anything like that. Most of the time when people say something like this, it's usually because they themselves are more comfortable working with their gender or people from their country or language or whatever it might be. But keep in mind that literally if anyone anywhere needs your help, then there are tons of other people in many different scenarios who could also use it as well. So don't do them or yourself a disservice by canceling anybody out or by disqualifying people prematurely. The next coaching myth to bust is that receiving coaching is only for for people who are struggling. So sticking with the common fitness example, yes, there will always be a pool of overweight people who want to lose weight and get fit and so forth. But there will also always be another big pool of people who are already fit or in shape or whatever you want to call it, who want to get just a little bit better or who need help maintaining. In fact, that big pool of coachees who wants to get a little bit better, those are usually, I don't want to say better, but those are generally more coachable coachees because they are more invested in getting 1% better as opposed to the other group who's looking to get 90% better. And just continuing and finishing up this thought here is that it is not embarrassing to receive coaching or to ask for it. And it's not admitting defeat and some of these other crazy ideas that some people have been led to believe. In fact, I would say it's the opposite. I think if somebody has a coach in any area of their life, I actually respect them more because they are willing to commit to something. They're willing to ask for help. They're willing to admit that somebody else knows more than they do. And remember that LeBron James, Bill Gates, whoever you think is really cool and famous and whatever, they probably have a coach. And some people might say they don't need one because they're already at the top of their game, but with coaching is how they got there. The next coaching myth to bust is that coaches solve every problem and do all the work for the coachee. Now, the most blunt way to put this is that coaching or a coach is really just a tool. So that means if you have a screwdriver, just because you buy a screwdriver doesn't mean your door is gonna put itself up and that your chair is gonna assemble itself and so forth. You have to actually use that tool and do the work yourself. Now, of course, coaching should make achieving that goal much easier, but coaching itself won't do all the work. The next coaching myth to bust is that it's a cakewalk and that anyone can do it. Now, to be fair, anyone can do it, but many people aren't willing to make the changes, aren't willing to learn the skills to become an effective coach. For example, if an aspiring coach isn't willing to listen to their coachee, isn't willing to analyze their problems, isn't willing to be empathetic or sympathetic, isn't willing to prescribe some type of custom situation or deliver them to the outcome that they're looking for, then although that coach is capable of being a coach, if they aren't willing to make those changes and take those actions, then maybe they shouldn't do it. The next coaching myth to break is that it's too expensive or too time-consuming. So let's start with the expensive piece there. Now, we've all seen those memes where people say, I want to start a business, but it's too expensive. And then that same person has the new iPhone every year. They go on 5 vacations every year. They have the $500 Yeezy shoes all the time. You get the point here that in most cases, when people say anything is too expensive, eating healthy, starting a business, getting a coach, or whatever, they are usually spending that money in other priorities. So I won't dive too much more into that here, but you get the point that anything that is value, cost, price, investment, or anything like that really comes down to how much you actually want that end result. But as far as receiving coaching is concerned, there are so many coaches in the world and so many different offers that too time consuming is one of the worst excuses, let's say, because there are some coaches who have 1-day consultations or 30-day programs or 90-day or 6-month or 12-month. Some of them want to have a 1-hour conversation every week. Some is 3 times a week. So really, there's no shortage of options here and offers for how much time is available to you and that you're willing to commit. And the absolute best way to break coaching misconceptions and myths is to hit the like button and subscribe below. If you learned something interesting today, it does help a lot. For personalized help, launching your coaching business and booking more calls and clients, then book a free strategy call with me below to find the biggest opportunities in your business. Well, that wraps us up for today. Thanks everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.